Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Toad Talk Podcast, episode 4, coming at you at the time of this recording on March 23rd, 2026. And boy, oh boy, we've got a lot to talk about in the sports world, but we do have a few games we're going to talk about as well before we get to that. And of course, our streamer of the week, we'll be revealing that in the Croakitoad stream team. But as usual, thank you so much for the feedback and the support you guys have been giving to us here on the podcast each week. Really appreciate that. And also the suggestions are starting to come in our Discord server from all of you on what you would like for us to talk about, review, or take a look at. And we really appreciate that because we really like the interactivity from those of you out there listening and or watching on whatever platform you are listening or watching from, which could be YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. Of course, I am your host, Croakitoad, also known as Tad, and we're going to bring in our panel coming in for week 4. Coming in first is the big biscuit himself, RAJI. Jeremy is back.
What up?
He's here, he's large, and he's in charge, and he's already reserved his room for QuakeCon.
And my PTO's approved already.
Nice. And it looks like I am actually 100% ongoing, unless, something crazy emergency happens. But looks like I'll be going again.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So that's 2 of us at least. We got to get.
Too bad we can't say the same for this third guy that's with us.
I know, right? Yeah. Speaking of that third guy, the Grem, the Zazzers, the Turtle is here with us again, and also coming to QuakeCon, right?
I am here, and yeah, great show so far. Start. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. So, wait, you mean you're here instead of it's here? You're here?
Yeah, I can't take your tagline. That would be copyright infringement and all that.
Right. Well, if I was going to take something from anything, it would be Resident Evil, which is a nice segue to bring your own news this week. And because we're talking about You're Here Too, boy, oh boy, the 30th anniversary of Resident Evil. And today, I have to tell you, at the time of this recording, I watched the Residents of Evil Resurrection of BIOHAZARD Story, which I was actually a part of, a Patreon supporter. And you can actually see my name in the credits at the end of it. Yo. Tad Peters right there. Love to see it. But I actually watched it today. It's about an hour, a little over an hour long. It contains the original cast from the original Resident Evil on the PS1. Of course, Charlie Kraslovsky as Chris Redfield, Greg Smith as Barry Burton, Eric Purius as Albert Wesker, and Linda, just Linda, as Rebecca Chambers. If you have not checked this, basically it's like a short fan film that takes place kind of like after everything went down in the original Resident Evil game. Definitely check it out. It's free on YouTube. Anyone can watch it. And I really enjoyed it, but I might be a little biased because I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. The original game is my favorite game of all time. So when it's the 30th anniversary this year, 2026, and they came out with this a few days ago, and they've been working on it for a while. And it's the guys behind Residents of Evil. It's a live-action fan film directed by Andrew Solo, who is also behind The Keeper's Diary, a Biohazard story, which I also watched. And basically, the plot is about an outbreak that takes place in Rosa and Firma, Mexico, and Rebecca Chambers is down there, and then you get some, I'm not going to spoil anything, but you get some other familiar characters from the games showing up in a post-credit scene and during the film itself that you will recognize if you're a Resident Evil fan out there. And you just get to see Chris hanging out with Barry and the showdown with Albert Wesker, and you recognize these faces from the FMV video at the beginning of the game. And the, when they're hanging out in the chopper, leaving the mansion at the end of the game. Really cool. I love that they brought all these people together. It's a shame they didn't get Inez, the original Jill Valentine, to be on board, or Joseph Frost, the actor of Joseph Frost, involved. But it is what it is, and really cool. That's what I wanted to bring to the table. Like I said, 30th anniversary of the Resident Evil. Happy birthday, Resident Evil. I love you. You're my favorite game of all time. All right, I'm going to send it over to RAJI. What you got for us?
Well, this isn't really news, but it's more like an event because it is giveaway time 5 weeks from now, this is gonna prove to who actually listens to our podcast, because it's a test. 5 weeks from now, if you're listening to on YouTube, all you have to do is leave a comment, #Toad giveaway. If you're in a Discord server and underneath the channel for Toad Talk Podcast, #Toad giveaway. Because 5 weeks from now, I'm going to give a copy of Pragmata to a lucky listener 5 weeks from now. That is an upcoming Capcom game that releases April 24th. 5 weeks from now, so about a couple days after the release, when we record the podcast, I will announce the winner. They will be able to choose what platform they want it on: PS5, Xbox Series X, PC, or Nintendo Switch 2. And I will get that to you as soon as the podcast for that week is uploaded and everyone can hear it, and you will get your key immediately. That's all I got.
Holy cow, that's awesome. I had no. So, just to give you guys a little behind the scenes listening to this podcast, we don't really ever, like, I think I spoiled what I was going to talk about earlier to these guys, but usually we don't really like tell each other what we're, so it's a complete shock to each other. That was a shock to me. That's awesome. 5 weeks from to this very podcast, a copy of Pragmata. That's the game where it's the little girl and she's hanging with the main character. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a new Capcom game that's going to be with Hugh and Android companion Diana. I think I honestly don't know much, but I know it's a very hyped game. I remember it being announced at the Game Awards for 2025. I don't like to really get much into games if I'm planning on playing them, because I don't want to be hyped going into them and then be disappointed. I'd rather be not knowing anything about them and then let my natural emotions take over. I just find it better that way, because if you go into a game hyped and be disappointed, it really bums you out. The big stink there was I can't remember what the game was last year that it happened to be for, but yeah, I don't like knowing anything about games when I go to play them. So I know anything about Pragmata. I know it's really hyped, and I just chose that to be a giveaway, and it's by Capcom, just like Resident Evil. So keep it in the family.
That's awesome. Well, we have an official giveaway here at the Toad Talk Podcast. Like you said, reply in the comments on YouTube. Excuse me. Or leave a comment in the Discord for the Toad Talk Podcast with the what was the hashtag again? Just for those listeners out there that missed it the first time.
Toad giveaway. All one word. Toad giveaway.
Toad giveaway.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm going to pass it over to Grem now. What do you got for us for bringing your news this week?
Wow, I don't have a giveaway, sadly. Real quick, I'm going to actually touch on just two things, but I'm going to go really quick with it. In the NHL, one of my favorite players, Mika Zibanejad, is playing his 1000th game at Madison Square Garden. He's a New York Ranger. He plays the center position, and he was drafted by the Ottawa Senators, who they are playing tonight. So a really big moment for him. And my second one, it's National Puppy Day today, guys. So National Puppy Day is to encourage adoptions, support shelters, and educate the horrors of puppy mills. And really, it's just basically just adopt, don't shop kind of deal. It's not to be confused with National Dog Day. So again, if you have a puppy or even a dog, spend some time with them and so on and so forth. But obviously, you're probably listening to this on the day after or week after or whatever. So if you have a lovely puppy or a kitten or any kind of an animal, just give them an extra pet today.
Well, I have to be honest. I didn't know today was National Puppy Day, but I did something great in advance, and that's post 2 pictures of one of my dogs, a giant Great Pyrenees dog named Sarge, in my Discord server. So I did my part.
There you go.
Which segues into something we'll be watching here in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you for that insightful news. National Puppy Day, everyone. Go give your little furry little friend some hugs and snuggles when you hear this podcast. All right. Well, that's great. That's great, man. A freaking giveaway. Holy crap. All right. I'm looking forward to seeing who out there listening drops those hashtags. I want to see them, and you'll get a lucky copy of Pragmata of the platform of your choice. Awesome. Okay, well, that's going to wrap up our Bring Your Own News segment and the intro of episode 4. We're going to go straight into gaming news, and we've got, let's see, the four trailers we're going to watch on this podcast. We're going to start things off with what I felt like was a complete shadow drop of a game release from Microsoft and Xbox and Minecraft. And this one kind of hits home a little hard to me because I just recently got all the achievements in the first game of this. And then here comes the announcement for the second one. Here is announced as of March 21st, which was 2 days ago, Minecraft Dungeons 2.
In a land once plagued by great evil, brave heroes took up arms and triumphed against the terror. With peace restored, all was well. Until it wasn't.
Very cool. You love to see it. It's going to come out in fall of 2026, later this year. It's going to come out on obviously all of the Xbox platforms you could think of or dream of. Also Steam, PS5, and both Nintendo Switches. Like I said, I just recently knocked out every single achievement on the original Minecraft Dungeons on Xbox. Some of them were a little time consuming, but I finally got the job done. Special shout out there to Celestia, who actually kind of got me into the game. And I decided, I'd go for all the achievements. And then here we go. A few months later, here comes the second game. I had no idea this was coming out at all. This was a complete shocker to me, but I'm happy to see it. And it's basically like another version of Minecraft you can do, and you can have a bunch of friends join with you, and it's got a very much an adventure sense to it, where it's not really about building like the Minecraft that you all know. It's more like adventure, going out, slaying the beasts and the demons and the piglins and all the mobs and stuff to increase your gear and get better gear to increase your difficulty level in the game. And it's got kind of a semi-campaign to it. At least that's for the first game. I don't know what they're going to do new in this one, but I'm super stoked for this. Raji, I know both of you played a little bit of Minecraft. Or I know, Raji, you played a ton of original Minecraft back in the day. Did you have any experience with the original Minecraft Dungeons?
No, I've never played any of the spin-off Minecraft games. I've just been mostly Minecraft. I haven't played Dungeons or whatever the other one is that can't remember the name of it now.
I think it's Legends or something like that.
Well, yeah, Legends, yeah. But I know it's on. I believe the first one's on Game Pass.
Yes. Yep.
I might give it a shot, and I got to read it on like Game Pass. I might give it a shot just to get myself ready for the second one, see if it's something I'm interested in.
All right, and Grem, what do you think about Minecraft Dungeons 2, or have you had any experience with the original game at all?
Not really too much. I mean, obviously with the original, you and I have had our moments in that game.
Oh yes,
but Minecraft Dungeons, the first one, no. But at the same time too, if I remember right, isn't it kind of almost a little bit like Diablo in a way with like the gear system and whatnot?
Yeah. It's basically like a Minecraft meets Diablo. It's not a roguelike because if you die, you don't lose everything. You just come back. But and you go back to like the main hub world. But yeah, it's very much kind of like a Diablo meets Minecraft. You could say that for sure.
Yeah, I'll have to kind of check on it a little bit. I'd be intrigued to see what kind of new stuff they're going to put in for the second game, though. I watched you play the first one a bit, so it'd be kind of intriguing to see what they add to the second one.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And just going back to the original Minecraft, the Minecraft that we all know about, just the basic Minecraft game. Man, I tell people when this game comes up from time to time, not to go on a tangent here or anything, but that was like one of the most wholesome, cozy experiences I've ever had as a streamer, was where we just opened up a Minecraft server where it wasn't creative. It was completely survival. It was completely us trying to beat the game, beat the Ender Dragon, and get the credits to roll. And man, it was such a team effort. We had Azarain in there, special shout out to him, guiding the way, showing us the ropes. And we had just everyone going in there, just crafting, getting stuff done, filling inventory chests up, getting stuff prepared, getting armor built up, getting all the special tools. And it felt like it took a few months. I don't know if it did or not, but it felt like a few months for all of us to just come in there, collab, drop in, drop out, people coming, people going, doing the thing while I'm streaming it. And then we finally had that final showdown with the Ender Dragon. That was so much fun. I love doing that. And I would actually love to do that again at some point, just while we're on the topic of Minecraft anyway. And of course, the moment at the very end when, Grem killed me.
That was more towards the beginning of our adventure and everything. But yeah, I mean, hey, I was by accident, though. I didn't do it on purpose completely.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. All right, moving on to our next game trailer. We're going to move from Minecraft over to Starship Troopers. There's a new game coming out again for Starship Troopers. I'm like, holy crap. Didn't they just drop a new game recently already? But here comes another one, Starship Troopers Ultimate Bug War. The trailer was dropped on March 17th, so last week for us here at the time of this recording. It's a first-person boomer shooter. Let's take a look at Starship Troopers.
Buy and play now to secure your children's future.
Would you like to know more?
Nice. Okay, so that's Starship Troopers Ultimate Bug War. I love the little cameo there from Casper. It was the main actor. He was Rico from the original. I think it was in one of the sequels too, but in the original movie, he was Rico there. Threw him in there. I know he also likes to stream on Twitch too. I've seen him gaming on Twitch as well.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it looks really interesting. I don't know about you, but we try to be honest here on the podcast. I didn't know if it was just, maybe it was just my computer, but watching the trailer, I was seeing like some frame drops there during the shootouts and stuff. So I don't know, maybe it was just on my end, but otherwise, I mean, it's Starship Troopers. How can you go wrong? Coming out for PS5, Xbox, Nintendo Switch 2. It's going to be on GOG, obviously PC. And yeah, I mean, if you're looking for more bug killing carnage, looks like first person, you can play as the bugs even, looks like in the trailer, maybe a PvP kind of thing there. Yeah, it looks like ultimate carnage. I'm really curious if it contains like a lot of co-op or multiplayer with friends. I'm sure it probably might. But yeah, there you go. I've actually, real quick before I pass it off, I've actually never played a Starship Troopers game before in my entire life. So I had to just drop that. But what do you think about this one, Raji?
Yeah, this game is actually a single player game. It is the game that you're thinking about that just came out was the co-op Starship Troopers Extermination. That is a 16-player co-op FPS game. So this one is single player only. It is cheaper than the Extermination. It's $25. Extermination is $30. But yeah, it looked pretty clunky. Not gonna lie. I don't know if that's just the aesthetic they were going for with this game, because if you look at Extermination, it's completely two different looking games. So I don't know what they were going for. It does look a little clunky, but we know in our history of games that we know that clunky games could turn out to be the fun ones. I mean, I don't know if anyone else had experience with a fun clunky game, like, for perfect example, EDF. I don't know if anyone's played Earth Defense Force. Those are very clunky games, but they are super fun. And I think this might be another one.
And I couldn't help but notice it looked like there's like kind of I don't know. It just felt like there was two different graphics. Like one graphics was like more modern, and the second graphics looked more like the original Half-Life or something.
I was just thinking that too. Yeah, like a lot of like the fire and the explosion and everything looks very much like
that weapon you just had on the screen looked like a Doom weapon.
Yeah. It's kind of wild that Starship Troopers, just as a whole, has been, I don't want to say popping up, but there's been a lot more of the games for it. I mean the movies were good, but like this is kind of crazy. Like, they're trying to like come out with games upon games. Is it maybe because like with like Battlefield and Call of Duty being like as repetitive and not as good, that they're just trying to get a little piece of the pie at this point?
I really honestly can't tell you. I don't know if there's a Starship Troopers movie coming out or a series or something like that. I haven't heard anything about that, but maybe they're just in the video gaming world. They're just like, yeah, let's just go all in on Starship Troopers right now.
I mean, I like the fact that, I mean, you can get away with it too. I mean, it's bugs, right? Nobody, for the most part, not many people like bugs. I mean, we all have like our fear of like either a spider or something like that. You know what I mean? So you're not really like, it's not really like hurting anyone in a way when you think about it. I mean, they're bugs. So, but at the same time, there's that, like you were talking about, that neat feature where you can actually play as the bug kind of deal and everything. That's kind of a neat aspect to it. I mean, but again, going through like some of the video, like you're right, there's like two different graphics that are going on. Like there's like a high definition version, and then you have like the Half-Life version, like mixed in together. It's not like one or the other where you kind of like flip it on and off. It's just like both of them are together.
Mm-hmm. I've never really. No, go ahead.
Oh, I actually looked it up. This was actually at this time last year. A new Starship Troopers movie was announced to be in the works by Columbia Pictures, with Sony backing the project, by the filmmaker Neil Blomkamp, who made District 9, and it also I believe it said somebody was coming back to reprise the role, like Johnny Rico. Rico, well, that's his character name, I think. But Johnny Rico's coming back to kill some more bugs. So it's not a. They're saying it's a new adaptation, not a remake. So they're going back to the novel for source material, the 1959 novel for source material.
Nice. Okay. Well, like I said, Casper loves. He's in this trailer at the end. He streams on Twitch. He plays the Starship Troopers games. He doesn't. That's not all he plays, but he does play them on Twitch as well on his gaming channel. So, if there is anyone to be like the face of that entire franchise, it would certainly be Johnny Rico. That's for sure.
Yep. Would you like to know more?
No, I think I've heard all I need to, seen all I need to. So we're going to move on, and I'll leave it at that was interesting. Moving on to a game that we all love deep in our hearts. It's time to talk about Peak. Oh, I love this game. I cherish this game so much. It's so much fun with friends. And this was actually the Croakitoad multiplayer game of the year for 2025 as well in our community. So shout out to Peak. Love you guys. But we got some special news for Peak crossing over into another gaming universe that a lot of people also, well, more so play. Let's take a look at the trailer. Sound the bugles, because here comes Peak coming to Fortnite.
Hey Scouts, we have a really exciting update. Remember, Never leave your squad behind. Hey Scouts, we have
Well, that was a very quick announcement trailer letting you know that the Peak cosmetics are coming to Fortnite. And from what I've been told, one of the panel here has already bought the entire bundle on Fortnite. I'm not going to spoil who it is. I need to get on there and get it because, like I said, I absolutely adore Peak. I love it. And while not, I don't play Fortnite as frequently as I would like, I still like to collect costumes like Res Evil and stuff like that. But I really love this, and anything to spread more awareness out to a game like Peak into the Fortnite crowd, I think that's great because what a wonderful game. What about you, Raji? You gonna grab this bundle, or did you already get it?
I can tell you right now, it wasn't me because I really don't like Fortnite. So I'm
Dang it!
I'm
Spoilers.
horrible at it. I'm horrible at it. Not my cup of tea, and I'll just leave it at that.
All right. Well, nice, short and easy right there. All right. So that spoiled it. Who got the entire Peak bundle for Fortnite? We'll send it over to Zazarus and let us know what was all in the bundle.
I don't like Fortnite. I'm just kidding. No, yeah, I think it was 25 or 2,500 coins to get the bundle. The bundle will include a backpack that has Bing Bong. So in case anyone is curious on that, yes, Bing Bong is now a part of Fortnite as well. Your pickaxe is the marshmallow, not the wiener like you guys like to have. And of course, when you do buy the pack, you get one character, but you can change the color, you can change the eyes, you can change the mouth, and the hair. That's right. Yeah. I was trying to think of the other one. So you can kind of create. Now, it doesn't have all of the customizations as Peak does, but it has some. And yeah, it's I was able to create my guy just a little bit and at least get the color scheme and everything. And, you know, a little bit touching on Fortnite, there are many other game modes when it comes to Fortnite. I mean, they have Legos, they have their own like racing league thing in there as well, community creations as well. So you don't even have to play like Fortnite at all. The music festival that you and CS usually like to do, and Coke too. Things like that where it's like Guitar Hero. There's a lot of other little things that you can do in Fortnite and still actually progress in their battle pass and everything. So it's worth trying again. Just if you're, and I'll be honest, I don't do build. I do zero build when it comes to Fortnite when I play. But at the same time too, I'll do zero build. I'll do a few community games that I like to be a part of. And then I'll do the music if I'm wanting to like jam out to some music. So Fortnite, it's got a lot. I wish I would do more in the Lego mode because that's more like the Minecraft thing. But yeah, congrats to Peak for this. I mean, they're a small indie company, like you said. The more awareness that they can get, the bigger that game is going to get or continue to be, honestly. And again, a game that they didn't think was going to be that way is, a staple now.
I think it's great. I love to see Peak collabing with Fortnite because I think it's only going to do a lot of good for Peak and bring a lot more eyeballs to the game itself. So I really love this, and I need to get on there and get the bundle for myself. Like I said, I don't really play Fortnite a lot. I do play it, but just getting the skins for Peak is just a given for me. So I'm happy to see this.
Yeah, you might want to do it after maybe the podcast because we don't know how long it's going to stay in the shop. And at that point, too, it could always come back. So it's good to be, of the knowledge of, hey, it's going to be there.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, when does this thing expire? But I guess that information.
I don't know, honestly. So I didn't see it when I bought it on how long I had. So I just wanted to get it.
Okay. Well, if you're listening to this podcast, hopefully it's still in the shop on Fortnite. Go get it, get your Peak characters, and buy that bundle because I am certainly going to. All right, moving on. Where we actually had our last video game trailer for episode 4 of this podcast. It's a game called Someone's Inside Me. The trailer was dropped on September 19th, 2025. So a little bit ago. But this game looks, from the description, it sounds very interesting. This was recommended to us by Ashterial. So shout out to Ashterial for wanting us to check this trailer out. Let's take a look and see what this one's about. Oh my goodness. What did we just watch? Wow. Looks like a multiplayer game where you and your friends can go inside you're shrunk and you're thrown inside the human body. You have to travel through this human NPC while an evil school teacher is chasing after elementary school teacher. Miss Morbid is chasing after you, trying to pick you off and your friends off one by one. And I'm assuming the goal is to make it from the RAJI regions all the way up into the mouth and escape out the front of the mouth, assuming from what I saw in the trailer. Wow, what a wild trailer that was. I have not seen a game quite like the trailer like that in a while, but interesting enough. I will actually wishlist it and give it a shot, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's all I got for that until I see more. What do you think, Raji?
Sign me up.
You just like the part where they go into the anus.
Yeah.
I had a feeling.
Nothing wrong with that.
I had a feeling. All right, and Grem.
Wow. First off, poor Jerry. Shout out to anyone that can figure out who I mean by Jerry. On top of that, the only thing I will say, and I want to maybe hope that this game kind of gives you that chance, is kind of like when you're inside the human body, we don't really know, like, I mean, for the most part we do, but you don't know the ins and outs, how it really looks and everything of that nature. So that'd be kind of interesting to kind of scout out how the human body works in a way in a video game too. A lot of times, video games, it's a lot more fun than just kind of watching some video in science class or something like that, So, it should be, I guess it'd be interesting. It is co-op. It looks very fun. Looks like a lot of people will be having friends issues in the stomach area for sure. I saw one of them kind of like fall down into the stomach acid. So, I would wish list that just for the sheer fun factor that it could provide, and again, you're a learning aspect on it as well.
Just to tack on a little bit more information about Someone's Inside Me. This is developed by Superlou, creators of Finding Frankie, and it's a horror game inspired by Poppy Playtime and Five Nights at Freddy's. So thank you, Ashterial, for having us take a look at that one. Only from the suggestive mind of Ashterial would we see a trailer quite like that. But you know what? I dig it. I'm going to add it to the wish list. We'll keep an eye on this and see what we can do in terms of streaming it and having a community night on it for sure. All right, I think that'll wrap us up for the video gaming news for episode 4 of the podcast. We're going to move over to movies and TV news. We have one trailer we're going to take a look at real quick. This one was actually recommended by a member of the panel. Actually, Grem brought this movie up, and I said, "Oh yeah, I remember seeing the trailer for this. I've not actually seen all of it yet, but we'll take a look at this and give our thoughts real quick."
The Virgil was built in 1923. Today, it's one of the most exclusive buildings in Manhattan.
Hi, I'm the new maid.
With such wealth comes the expectation of the highest quality of service.
It's a lot of locks.
This building is a temple to Satan. Each month we must pay with a human sacrifice. Tonight, you are the offering.
Gotcha.
be a way out of here.
The building was designed to be a death trap.
Our offering is on the loose. Be on the lookout. I just dropped her picture in the group chat.
Fuck you.
No, fuck you.
No, bitch. Fuck you.
Fuck you!
I don't know what is going on in here. But Ray, I am in a forgiving mood. Who the fuck are you?
Where did you learn how to fight like that?
Prison.
Okay, well, I have to say I didn't know that this movie was coming out at all. Obviously, I saw the trailers for it, but holy crap! I was like, okay, okay, what's going on here? And then I saw the door open, and then the person get completely mowed down with a double-barrel shotgun, and I was like, okay, and it got me from there. I think I will definitely check this out. This looks like my kind of film. I love it. It's the person trapped in the hotel or whatever, and then all the cult members are trying to take her out in the single night, but surprise, she can fight back. She's got guns, she's got knives. She's not a helpless little innocent little victim like in most horror movies. No, she will fight back. I love this. It looks really funny, and I think I saw the evil Harry Potter guy in there.
Yeah, Draco Malfoy.
Draco Malfoy. Yeah. I think I saw him in the trailer. What do you think, Raji?
I believe he was the one that got blasted. Sawed-off shotgun. Because it showed him open the door and say, "Gotcha," and then it cuts to him getting blasted away. I'm pretty sure he's the one. He's the poor soul that got blasted. I don't know if you can go back and look. It's a little bit before that. Because yeah, there he is opening the door. There's five of them there. No, where'd he go? Something must have.
Yeah, where'd he go?
Something bad must have happened. But
yeah, he's in the trailer there, but then he disappears. They're not going to give that away for free.
This gives me scary movie vibes, and I'm here for it because I love comedy and horror movies.
Yeah, I like everything I see on this. This looks really funny. I really want to check this out. All right, Graham, you're the one that recommended us take a look at this. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it looks more the gory kind of side of things. It does have a bit of like a Scream element when it comes to the comedy and just silliness. But yeah, it looks pretty good actually. I mean, it sure looks a little silly, but I think that was what they were going for, honestly. And yeah, I mean, what a way to start your like first day as a maid by like having to, I don't know, survive and not die from a death trap.
Right. I would definitely not a position that you want to find yourself in, but she apparently makes it work out in her favor. So, well, that's really fun. I can't wait to check that out. I want to definitely watch that one, whether it be in the theater or however else streaming. Looks like only in theaters March 27th. Well, there you go. March 27th. That is this Friday at the time of this recording. This Friday. Mm-hmm. Go check it out. Let us know in the comments what you thought about the movie. Was it good? Was it bad? I'm interested. Okay, that'll wrap up our movie news. We're going to switch on over to sports. We had a lot of sports to talk about. I know. Do we want to cover the two quick ones real quick, which was the World Baseball?
Yeah.
We'll do that real quick. Which was Venezuela winning
Yes.
For the first time ever, the World Baseball Classic.
Classic, yes. Yep, they won 3-2 against the United States.
There you go. So shout out to Venezuela winning for the first time ever World Baseball Classic. I know a lot of people were hyped to see USA get back in there again after there was a little, I don't know, people were thinking maybe Japan, but then they got knocked off early, and then USA kept on going, but it ended up being Venezuela after all. And then we had that other little bit of sports news. It was in the hockey. The tie
Alex
for
Ovechkin, yes, joins Wayne Gretzky as the second player in NHL history to score 1,000 career goals in the regular season and the playoffs combined. Wayne Gretzky, I'm sure everyone, if you don't know anything about hockey, Wayne Gretzky is like the legend, the icon when it comes to NHL. So for Alex Ovechkin to join that group, and I believe he surpassed, I think, the points total, I think it was last year, or something to that effect. So a big honor. Alex Ovechkin is going to be one of those where you'll remember him with Wayne Gretzky.
He is also the only player to score 200 or more goals in 3 different decades.
That's a crazy stat, actually.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, well, there you go. Got some NHL news mixed in there with what everyone's been talking about in the sports world right now. And what I would think is, well, probably the second most talked about thing in sports right now, and that's NASCAR. We had Darlington over the weekend, and guess who came out number 1 again? Mr. TR himself. 4 wins in the Cup Series now, still in number 1 by a big margin. 325 points right now. Only coming in second place, Ryan Blaney at 230, but I'm sure my colleagues here will dive a little bit more into that. Hit us up. Let us know what is the NASCAR standings looking like right now after Darlington as we head into, isn't it my favorite place coming up this weekend?
No.
It's Martinsville this weekend.
Oh,
Bristol's
yes.
in 2 weeks.
Dang it. I'm so excited.
So Tyler Reddick won, but not without issue. He got the pole, but right off the get-go, he had alternator issues. So they had to eliminate a bunch of unnecessary electrical drains and change to a different battery, which put them at the back of the field. He also had no cool suit for the whole race, so he's out there for almost 300 laps, sweating his rear end off. But he, through all that, and even with a very late stage collision, he still fought through all that and somehow picked up the win in Darlington. He only led 77 laps. Brad Keselowski finished second, led 142 laps. Yes, so Tyler Reddick takes the win in the current standings after that race. He has a 95-point lead over Ryan Blaney, who gained a spot. Bubba Wallace dropped a spot. The biggest story here is Joey Logano dropping 5 spots. He is now on the bubble. He is in that current 16th spot. So if the playoffs, if the chase for the championship was to start today, Logano would barely be in it. And our favorite Kyle Busch is 23rd now. He dropped a spot from 22nd with 106 points. Not a good year at all for a lot of people. And then dead last is still Jimmy Johnson to this day. I don't know why he's on the standings. I know NASCAR took him off, but other places still have him on the standings, I guess, for nostalgia. But yeah, Tyler Reddick leads the standings at 325 points. He's got 52 stage points, 6 starts, 4 wins, 4 top 5s, 5 top 10s, and he has led a total of 189 laps. 2311 Racing is in first place. Team Penske moves up to second place, bumping out 2311 Racing, I believe, for the other car. I don't quite remember who that is at this moment. Somebody, I think Bubba. Yeah, Bubba got bumped out. And then, of course, Toyota still number 1 with a huge lead over Ford and Chevrolet with 310 points with 5 total wins. Ford with 1 win, and Chevy has yet to win this year.
Wow. That is a lot to digest and a lot to take in. But at the end of the day, Tyler Reddick overwhelmingly in the lead right now. Now, let me ask you this before we get Grem in here. How many more races do you think Tyler Reddick would need to come in at first place at before he's just like cruise on in and he's good to go for the rest? He doesn't really have to worry. Is he already at that point now?
I think with the 4 race wins that he has gotten, I think something catastrophic would have to happen for him to not make the chase. I think if he goes on a stretch of just finish either DNF or finishing outside of the top 10 for a long stretch, it might put him at risk for that 16th spot bubble. It just also depends on how everyone else does around him. But right now, I think he's in a pretty good spot. I think I don't think there's maybe we're going into race 7, so he still has a few months before he's locked in. Anything happen. It's just like wrestling. Never say never. Anything can happen because the chase doesn't start until the first race of September, which ironically, the first race in the chase is Darlington. So September 6th is the start of the Chase for Championship. So he has until then to try and lock himself in. I think he's already there, but again, we don't want anything catastrophic to happen, such as a long stretch of DNFs or horrible finishes.
Gotcha. All right, Grem. What do you think about where everything's standing right now in the NASCAR Cup Series?
Well, again, and you got to remember too, NASCAR is a sport as well. And for example, if something injury-wise could always happen as well for Tyler or any of these drivers for that matter. I mean, again, you're racing at high speed. Something could happen. A lot of times, though, they are protected, but you never know. Right now, though, yeah, I mean, with 4 wins, you're kind of on almost easy street. I mean, you're almost 100 points from second place right now. I know last week we talked about SVG being at 16. He moved up to 15th now. Joey Logano's in that 16th spot right now. And honestly, he's actually tied with Michael McDowell for that last spot. So anything can really happen after one race, you know. Again, Shane went down a lot of spots. I think it was 11 2 weeks ago. So anything can happen. But again, like what Raji was saying, a bunch of DNFs. And it's racing too. You're going to be in a wreck or two, you know, where you're going to finish either dead last or third from last or anything, and you're only going to get minimum points. So again, anything can happen. But right now, I mean, he's just coasting. I mean, he's driving as well as anyone. Makes you kind of remember the days of like when Jeff Gordon was around, Dale Earnhardt, you know, even Jimmy Johnson to a point as well, where, you know, all of a sudden these guys are just winning and you're like, wow, like what, something just clicked and he's just driving the wheels off.
Nice. Yeah, I know. I remember I was asking you earlier, like, is Tyler Reddick like was everyone like anticipating him to do this well this season? Has everyone just known his time is just about timing, or did he just come literally out of nowhere? And it sounds like most people said, well, he's been around for a while and he's just been kind of like there, and this year just happens to be his year.
Yeah, like he switched teams about, what was it, 2 years ago? This is like his third year with the his new racing team, and he's done very well. So sometimes it's just finding that right team, right crew, and everything's just gelling together perfectly for him.
By the way, I just want to drop a shout out while you're talking about NASCAR. We had the little beat kicking up in the background there. I was giving you some motivation for your NASCAR talk there. Getting your motor running.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, you gave me the green light, and I think I hit that checkered flag, and hey, we're good.
Yep, you're right up there with Tyler Reddick, but we'll have to see if you can actually surpass him.
Yeah, I got 1 win, so watch out.
right there with Ryan Blaney and Denny Hamlin.
That's right.
But at least it's more than Kyle Busch.
Very true.
We apologize for any Kyle Busch fans out there listening. We just it's too easy. It's too easy. All right, well, that's our NASCAR wrap up for this week. We'll be back next week to see what happens in, where did you say we're going this week?
Martinsville.
I got Bristol on the mind, man. I'm ready for Bristol.
You're 2 more weeks. We got Martinsville, then the Easter break, and then we come back from Easter and go to Bristol.
Okay. Yep. Can 3 weeks just happen this weekend? I want Bristol. I want to see Bristol.
Martinsville's good. It's a short track too. It's a great short track. The paperclip is what I like to call it.
Ooh.
Clippy.
We gotta try it. You know, I'm actually going to be home Easter weekend, so maybe we ought to try some of these tracks on NASCAR 25.
Let's go. It's on sale currently right now.
Yeah, on the Twitch channel.
Rent it on Steam.
Yes, during the Steam Spring Sale. Go ahead, do it, and join us, you NASCAR fans out there that have NASCAR 25. Join us, twitch.tv Croakitoad. We love playing with everyone online. Join us in the races and meet me at Bristol. All right, we're going to move on over to probably the biggest thing everyone's talking about right now in the sports world, and that is March Madness. The last time you heard us here on Toad Talk Podcast, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to shy away from it. I'm not going to run away from the fact that I predicted that we were going to see in the finals, we were going to see McNeese and Hofstra in the finals. I predicted it. I said that's my brackets. That's who I'm picking. And what happened to McNeese and Hofstra? Well, McNeese lost by 10 points to Vanderbilt in the first round, and Hofstra lost to Alabama by 20 in the Midwest bracket. So my brackets are shot before any of yours, but I'm sure everyone listening out there, your brackets are gone too. And I'm going to let Raji tell you why.
Oh, brother. Gotta let me. Well, we're just going to recap this. This might be the longest segment.
Yes,
of the podcast.
There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, so we're going to go over to the East region. We almost had a big upset. 16th seeded Siena gave Duke everything they could handle, but still could not come up with a win. It was just a 6-point victory for Duke. That would have set the stage big time if Siena pulled the upset. But in the East region, we had really nothing to note upset wise. So moving to the South region, we had Iowa. I guess I would consider this an upset. Iowa took out 8th ranked Clemson 67-61. 4th ranked Nebraska. I know. Wow, man, why are you talking about 4th ranked Nebraska? Well, Nebraska has never won a game in the NCAA tournament. They're 0 for 8. Well, that changed with a 76-47 win over 13th seeded Troy. They win their first ever game in the NCAA March Madness tournament. But the big upset of that region was VCU upsetting North Carolina 82-78 to move on to the second round. And that is all. And I don't consider this an upset. I don't know if Grem would agree. Texas A&M, a 10 seed, beating St. Mary's, a 7 seed, 63-50. I honestly don't consider that an upset. And you can call me SEC biased or whatever. I don't see that as an upset. Some people might. I don't. So, with that side of the bracket, what do you guys think so far?
Real quick. I gotta tack onto this. You were talking about Iowa, which was 9 seed, taking out Clemson first round. You forgot to mention in the second round, they took out.
We were getting there. We were getting to the second round.
Right.
I'm just recapping the first round because we just got 2 rounds to get through.
Okay. Well, I'll pass it off to Graham then.
Well, I guess to answer your question, yeah, a 10 beating a 7 is kind of like a 9 beating an 8 in a way. I mean, they're very close matchup wise. So to answer your question, no, I don't really feel like that's much of an upset. And other than that, yeah, I guess Siena, a little note too. I think Siena played their starters the entire game.
Yeah, they did not sub one player out at all.
And they just couldn't. I was listening to that game on the radio coming home from work, and I was like pulling so hard for Siena. I was like, those poor guys, this is like the best that they're gonna probably have in like basketball career, and they're giving it everything they had, and I was just pulling for it. And again, a 16 beating a 1 is always kind of fun too to experience, but yeah, that they played very hard in that game.
Yeah. So going to the other side of the bracket in the West region, I know we just said it's like 9 beating an 8, but 9th seeded Utah State beat Villanova, and Villanova has always been a big name in basketball. Utah State in my opinion, pulled off an 10-point upset, 86-76. High Point, 12th seeded High Point, upsets Wisconsin by 1 point. And if you have not seen the end of that game, you need to go on YouTube and find the ending and and just look at the hype that this team had. High Point was slept on by Wisconsin, and I'll get to it. I'll get to High Point in the second round for Arkansas, but that team is definitely not a 12 seeded team. They played like a top 5 seed in a region.
If I could interject real quick, I 100,000,000% agree with you, because I was actually able, I know you're going to talk about this later, but I actually caught the Arkansas versus High Point game. I know that's in round 2. I know you're going to get to that in just a second, but I actually caught that game, and boy, if like one of the commentators said, if you don't like this basketball game, you don't like basketball. I know you're going to touch on that here in a second, but I just had to reiterate, High Point, I agree, should not have been a 12 seed.
Yeah, and speaking of Arkansas's first round game against 13th ranked Hawaii, 97-78. As an Arkansas fan, watching Hawaii play their hearts out and just the emotion they were showing towards the end of that game, they wanted it bad. I hate to play a spoiler as an Arkansas fan, but they definitely deserve to have that moment, whether even if it's in defeat. But that they showed out and played it with everything they had. 11th seeded Texas, that's considered an upset. They beat BYU 79-71. No one gave Texas is a first 4 team, by the way. They had to win to get in. So they have advanced to the second round with a upset over BYU. Other than that, the rest of the West region, pretty much how you would expect with the seedings. No other upsets. Going into the Midwest region, I believe St. Louis is another team that people slept on. Comes out and just demolishes a SEC 8th ranked team of Georgia, 102-77. Alabama completely destroyed Hofstra and Tad's dreams of a Hofstra McNeese championship game. Now the big story I remember touching about this, Miami, Ohio, having to be one of the first 4 with only 1 loss in the whole year. I was like, I even put it out there. I think they'd go far. Boy, was I wrong, because Tennessee put a throttling them 78-56. So maybe they did deserve their seeding in a first 4 opportunity with only 1 loss, because they didn't show up to that game whatsoever. I mean, Tennessee was all over them, and it was bad. But Kentucky almost had themselves an upset. If you haven't seen that game, I implore you.
Another one too. Yeah.
I implore you to go YouTube that, because I would call that a double buzzer beater. Because Santa Clara would take the lead with, I think, 2 seconds left in the game.
Yeah, it was like 2.9.
And on the next inbound, Kentucky goes and ties it back up at the buzzer. Or did they? Yeah, they sent it to overtime.
Yeah, they sent it to overtime, yes. And really, another thing that I was talking to people at work about this, the coach let the players play. And I think sometimes we get very much into like how basketball is, where it's very timeout heavy in the last like 90 minutes, of a game. They didn't call a timeout. Santa Clara hit that 3 and they just inbound like, okay, we're gonna do a half court shot, and if it goes in, it goes in, and if it don't, well, you know what, that's the play we're gonna run. And it banks off and hits, and I'm like, yeah, that's what you do sometimes. You let the players play, and then something like that happens, and you're like, that was pretty sweet.
And it's crazy because you could actually see Santa Clara actually expect a timeout to be called, because I don't think they were ready and set for a quick inbound that Kentucky did, and that was, I believe, helped them get half court's a 50-50 shot anyways.
Exactly.
But I think with a wide open shot like he had, it makes it a whole lot easier to try and somewhat line
Well,
up.
another thing too you got to remember too is like you can't foul in that situation either. You can't cover, because if you foul on a half court shot, your coach is going to ring you out for that.
Imagine he got fouled, and it also went in.
Yeah, exactly.
Now they're
So-
going to the line to win the game.
Exactly. So that they teach you that. They're like, listen, unless he gets to the 3-point line, do not do anything. Like, you don't touch them, don't breathe on them.
Yeah. So now we're going to move into the second round. We're going to go back to the East region here. Nothing of importance with the Duke TCU game. Duke moves on easily. In a game that I think people were expecting Kansas to have no problems with, St. John's, Rick Pitino, coach St. John's, takes down Kansas by 2 points to move on to the Elite Eight.
And I have to say, the ending to that was wild because they were there was a one-on-one. It was like the guy that ran it straight in and then just did a layup, and he was like one-on-one, and everybody else was like in 3-point defensive at the very end of the game. It's like, why are you guarding 3-point? I didn't understand that.
St. John's is a great team. I mean, they have a great coach, legendary longtime Louisville head coach, Rick Pitino. No, Graham knows all about him.
And Kentucky.
And Kentucky, yes. Can't forget Kentucky. But they will have their hands full with the first seeded Duke on Friday. Yeah, Friday.
And real quickly, too, now, granted, this could all change starting, in a couple of days. But I'll be honest with you, I've not been impressed with Duke at all, even against TCU. Now, granted, the ending of that game looks a little bit higher up, but even like midway through that game, TCU hung on. So I mean, I'll be honest, I have not been impressed with Duke these first 2 games.
I'm gonna be honest with you. My final four, I have Duke losing in my picks. I have them losing to St. John's. My final four, only one of my final 4 picks have been eliminated, and that's Vanderbilt. You call me biased. I have St. John's, I had St. John's, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, and Michigan in the Final Four, with St. John's and Arkansas playing for national championship. Because if anyone remembers last year in the tournament, that Arkansas St. John's game was an absolute banger of a game to watch in the second round of last year's tournament. Well, anyways, moving on, we had Michigan State taking down Louisville, and UConn easily handles UCLA. So Michigan State and UConn will meet in the Sweet 16 on Friday as well. Next game in the South region, and probably one of the most heartbreaking endings you'll ever see in a college basketball game. 9th ranked Iowa takes down number 1 ranked Florida 73-72 in probably the most heartbreaking fashion you'll ever see occur. And if you guys want to touch on this, go right ahead.
I actually didn't catch the game, so
I didn't catch the ending. Yeah.
Yes, Iowa hit a wide open 3. They were down 72-70. They hit a wide open. I believe, if I can recall, because I just watched this video. Iowa made it 73-72. Florida had a chance to score. They had the ball. The ball was passed, and they went to go for a layup, an easy bucket to win. Something happened. The ball dropped. They couldn't, and as they're scrambling for it, the clock hit 0, and that is game over. They couldn't even get a shot off. It was the most heartbreaking thing to see, for the ball to be right there under the basket for a layup. It just could not get it up. So Iowa continues their run. They will meet Nebraska, who, when I said that was the most heartbreaking fashion, I lied. This game ended in the most heartbreaking way, because Nebraska up 74-72 on Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt inbounds the ball, goes for a half-court shot. It goes in the rim like it's going to go in, and it comes out. And that is how Vanderbilt loses, with a half-court shot literally going inside the rim, but then rimming it right back out. So Nebraska wins their second straight ever NCAA tournament game to go to the Sweet 16 to play 9th-ranked Iowa.
That's
Illinois
cool.
Illinois handles VCU easily by 21 points, and they will play the second-seeded Houston, who also handled Texas A&M with ease. They will play those 2 games, Iowa, Nebraska, Illinois, Houston, will play on Thursday. Going to the West region, nothing of importance, really. Arizona moves on. Arkansas, High Point. Let's talk about it. Arkansas. Man, dude, that game.
That was probably the funnest basketball game I've ever seen in my life. It was tied, up by 3, tied, up the other way by 2, back tied again, up by 3, up by 5, back to the other side, up by 2, tied again. Oh my God, what a game, man!
Yeah. Are they? I mean, if you look at this, if you just look at the statistics, you're like, how did Arkansas win the game? High Point was 34 for 75 at field goals. Arkansas was 35 for 68. However, High Point was 10 for 38 at 3-pointers. Arkansas only 9 for 16. The big difference was free throws. High Point 10 for 11. Arkansas 15 for 20 at the free throw line. They out-rebounded Arkansas almost on offensively and almost defensively. It was just a really close back and forth game, but fouls is what gave us the win. 17 fouls total on High Point, where Arkansas only fouled 9 times. It was a crazy game that I always like to contribute to what I call the heart attack hogs, because every time they're in big situations that you have, the fans are just, they are one play away from going to the hospital. Swear to God. But
High Point plays like they have like jetpacks on. They are so fast. Yeah. They're just like, they're like a bunch of little jumping little bugs all over the place. You're like, oh my, whoa, we're already over here. Like there were so many times in that game where they were already over on the other side of the court and they didn't even realize he was over there. Like they were trying to catch up with him.
Yep. So Arkansas will play the number 1 seed at Arizona Thursday.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. Texas, this is a big upset. For the Texas run, the first 4-team run continues as the 11th-seeded Texas Longhorns takes down the 3rd-ranked Gonzaga Bulldogs. Yeah, Bulldogs. 74-68. Texas is on a stunning run. I think they're playing with a chip on the shoulder, feeling disrespected as being a first 4 team. So yeah, but they're gonna have their hands full Thursday when 2nd-seeded Purdue comes to town. That Miami game was starting to look like it could go Miami's way until the very end. Purdue pulled away, but for a little bit there, with a few minutes left in the game, you thought Miami was going to pull it off and take down Purdue, but ultimately Purdue pulls away and moves on. Midwest region, number 1 Michigan moves on. This one was kind of a shocker to me. 4th-ranked Alabama completely just annihilates Texas Tech 90-65. That was shocking. I was expecting more of a fight from Texas Tech, the team who beat Arkansas last year to give us heartbreak. Dang it. I believe Texas Tech played for a national championship, didn't they?
I believe so.
I think I could be wrong. Tennessee takes down 3rd-ranked Virginia 79-72. And I know Graham's going to be upset about this, but Iowa State just completely annihilates Kentucky 82-63. And I'm sorry, Graham.
It's fine. I was worried about it with Iowa State like destroying Tennessee State in the first round. I thought, wow, 108 points. That's not going to look good for Kentucky. So
yeah, especially when Kentucky takes Santa Clara to overtime.
And it's funny, you mentioned about Texas. Really, Miami, Ohio felt like they were disrespected, but they didn't get out of the first round. Texas has been that one where they're like, okay, we have the chip on our shoulder. We need to show that we are actually really, really good. And they're showing it with the beating Gonzaga was big for them, like real big.
Yeah, and actually, a fun fact, they are the Texas is actually the only team left that is above a 10th seed. Everyone else is single digits. Texas is the only double-digit seeded team left in the tournament at 11th seed. So we have a 1-5, 3-2, 9-4, 3-2, 1-4, 11-2, 1-4, 6-2. So yeah, Texas is the highest or lowest, I don't know how you'd word that, seeded team remaining.
Yep. The next lowest would be Iowa at number 9 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's definitely shaping up. I'm actually more curious and more interested in seeing what happens in the West bracket. Personally, I know you have a personal stake in it as well, but I really Arkansas taking on the number 1 seed or Arizona. That's going to be a fun game. I think that is.
We have done it before. We have defeated the number 1 seed team before. We've been in this position before. I have faith Granted, they're probably going to make us feel like we need to go to the hospital with just how close it's going to be. But if you remember, I fact check me if you want, but I believe we were in this situation against Kansas, or Kansas or Gonzaga, and we ended up beating them. I think it was Kansas, a couple years ago, and we ended up beating them. Let me fact check myself while you guys touch on something.
Yeah, actually, the one that I'm kind of looking at is actually the East. St. John's. St. John's was not happy with their like seating in terms of like being over on the West Coast, and then taking on Duke, and then UConn and Michigan State. I mean, teams that are usually around when it comes to like March Madness and prolific teams. That's a pretty stacked section as well that's remaining.
I just have to go back to the West again and talk about Purdue and Texas. Like Purdue's the go-to team really when you think of March Madness, number 2 seed this year once again, and taking on Texas, like you said, chip on their shoulder. A lot to prove there. I don't know. I'm feeling the electricity on the West. Obviously, all eyes are going to be on Duke because Duke is Duke, and it's very interesting. But you also have this 2 games over on the West, and I think that's going to be the excitement on the 26th of March.
Arkansas actually back in 2023, after beating a 9th-ranked Illinois team as an 8 seed, they went on to beat the defending national champions, number 1 seed Kansas, 72-71.
So
however,
they've done it before.
They would then go on to lose to the eventual national champion UConn, which we have. It seems like a running theme. We will lose to either the eventual national champion or the team that will play for a national championship. We're never the team that can actually do either one of those.
Except this year could be the year.
So that means if High Point would have actually beaten Arkansas, then they would have beaten Arizona, and then
High Point would have either won a national championship or at least played for it. So
that would have been insane.
I would be okay with that because I was really impressed watching High Point.
Yeah, that team, they're going to be back next year. They're going to be back. Yeah. That was an impressive 2 games, impressive showing.
Yeah, I really loved what I saw at High Point. Out of any other games I've seen or heard or whatever, High Point was the most impressive to me so far.
Yep.
All right, well, that'll wrap up our March Madness. We'll be back next week to talk about the what would it be, Sweet 16 going into the Elite 8, and we'll see how that all pans out. See if Arkansas still stays alive.
I mean,
against Arizona, we'll see.
Are we going to show love to the girls?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, there's the women's side is completely. It's really hard to.
I do know Oklahoma played last night in Norman because I drove past the Lloyd Noble Arena. It was absolutely packed. I don't know if they won. They probably did. But
Oklahoma, they did. They are in the Sweet 16.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's just glaze over it real quick. Not since Oklahoma's in it.
It's funny because Kentucky women's basketball team is also in the Sweet 16.
Oh,
so I don't have anything in this tournament. So because Arkansas women's team did not have a good year, as you guys heard me talk about last week.
So what is it? Is it going to be Oklahoma versus Kentucky at some point, or only way in the finals?
Only way to play Kentucky would be for a national championship.
Oh my God, how crazy would that be if that actually happened?
But right now, I have some very bad news for you.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
The winner of the game that's happening right this minute. Actually, it's over. You're actually going to get to play the number 1 seeded South Carolina Gamecocks, who beat Southern 103-34 and just beat 9th-ranked USC 101-61. Oklahoma will be playing them Thursday. God have mercy on the soul of that team, because South Carolina is the current modern day UConn women's basketball team. I swear to God.
Well, they just thought they were until they rolled up against the Oklahoma Sooners.
Well, unlike the Oklahoma State losing 11-2 to UCLA currently right now, just want to throw that out there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oklahoma State, man. That's awesome that they're both still in.
And it's kind of neat too with the women. There might be a Kentucky versus Louisville matchup as well, and the winner goes to the Final Four. That will get Kentucky buzzing a little bit too. So,
well, unfortunately for you, you're also playing and everyone to see a team in Texas who just got done who beat Oregon 100-58.
Yep.
Started the tournament with an 87-45 win over 16th ranked Missouri State. But Kentucky had a good. They got through James Madison 71-56, and then they had a scare against West Virginia, but ultimately won the game 74-73. So that leads that matchup. So both y'all's teams has a huge matchup against a number 1 seed in your region, and I'm sorry.
Bring it on, UConn. I mean, not UConn. South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Bring it on. We're gonna take you down.
We'll talk about it next week when we're in the Final Four, both of our teams.
Yep, I'll be talking about it on episode 5 of Toe Talk when I say Oklahoma beat South Carolina, suckers.
Yeah, actually, I believe the Elite Eight would be over by this time next week. So,
Nice.
Other than that, just looking at everything, I know I don't want to touch much. I have LSU winning the whole thing. Which they're looking pretty dominant. They won LSU opened the tournament with a 116-56 win over Jacksonville, and then he just beat Texas Tech 101-47. They play Duke on the 27th, which I believe is Friday. So my pick to win the championship's still in. I know that they have a lot of work to do. I know South Carolina's still there, Texas is still there, UConn's still there,
Oklahoma's still there.
Powerhouse. Oklahoma's still there. But yeah, we'll see what happens this time next week. We'll see who's still bragging.
Yep. And it'll be me. Mic drop. All right, that'll touch up. I'm so nervous now thinking about South Carolina. All right, that'll touch up the March Madness talk for this episode of Toe Talk. We're going to switch on over to wrestling now. WWE. We got the Monday Night Raw results from March 16th, 2026. Brock Lesnar came out and was targeting Seth Rollins for what the Visionary did to Paul Heyman. He got annihilated. And then our big man Oba came out and shocked the world when he took Brock Lesnar to Pound Town and pointed at the, almost didn't point at the WrestleMania sign. So we're going to get a big meat slapping meats match at WrestleMania. I think this is great. This is like the male equivalent of Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill, I feel like, for WrestleMania. I love it. I love it.
I want to interject, and I hate to do this. I just want to interject. I just want to give a shout out to that crowd. I gave you a video to play. I just want you to listen to the reaction. If we can get that,
I think I can just
audio
play it through the WWE here. Let's see. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, it's the same video. If you want to skip ahead to 132.
132. All right, here we go.
Right here.
Appropriate today of all days, but oh hell yeah, Oma Femi is here.
Well, there you go. step on my chest and point at the WrestleMania sign there, Oba. But that, yeah, I got to hand it to the crowd. I mean, in this day and age, it's hard for. I watch 90s wrestling so much. It's hard to make a comparison for me personally, but I can understand that the crowd was getting behind that and popped real big for that. Like I said, before I even watched that, I'm a big fan of seeing these two going at it. I think it's going to be a fun and entertaining match for WrestleMania. I think it's the right call. All right, but moving on, we're going to move to our first match that was on Raw. We had El Grande Americano defeating the original El Grande Americano in one-on-one action with help from Los Americanos. How long are they going to drag this out? Do you think they're going to milk it for all it's worth?
WrestleMania will be the
WrestleMania mask versus mask, probably.
Yeah.
That does make sense. Okay.
I unfortunately, I think somehow they'll both lose and get their lose their masks because.
And then they'll point each other like Spider-Man.
Oh, that would
be yeah.
That would be funny. All right, and then our next match, we had AJ Lee defeating Bayley in a women's Intercontinental title match. AJ Lee obviously retains her Intercontinental Championship in a one-on-one match against Bayley. And then after that, we had Penta defeating Dragon Lee in an Intercontinental Championship match. He also retains, his Intercontinental Championship, back-to-back IC title matches on Raw. We had Natty defeating Maxine Dupree. I know they're hot and heavy in the middle of a feud right now. So he had Natty taking down Maxine Dupree there in singles action, making her tap out to the sharpshooter. And then after that, we had Stephanie Vakir defeating Raquel Rodriguez. Why are they giving this match away free on TV? I said last week, Liv Morgan should have been the one right here, and Raquel should have been the one gearing up for her for WrestleMania. I poop on this. Why are you just giving this match away for free? These two should be going to WrestleMania for the title belt. My personal opinion, of course. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Raquel Rodriguez, but she'll get her time eventually, I'm guessing. But obviously, that's building up to make Stephanie Vakir look good against the inevitable Liv Morgan match at WrestleMania. Then we had CM Punk, who is the current World Heavyweight Champion, laying out Roman Reigns after a promo against face-to-face promo to end off Monday Night Raw. So obviously, they're still building up for that World Heavyweight title with, Roman Reigns winning the Royal Rumble this year and choosing CM Punk. The belt's going to be on the line, and that's how Monday Night Raw ended off. Did you guys have anything to add to Raw?
I don't know if we touched on this when it happened, but the CM Punk promo that the line he gave to Roman Reigns. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? The big one.
I didn't catch it.
It was a line saying that he was going to bury Roman next to his father.
Oh, that was on this Raw?
No, but this you can just tell it's starting to get heated because they're both good on the microphone. I think before we get to WrestleMania, I think Roman is going to reference CM Punk's dog that just passed away, Larry, and it's going to make this another one of those matchups that it's going to blur the lines of, wow, do they really hate each other, or is this just a work? Because right now we're approaching that point, and that is what makes these rivalries so great. Is you just can't tell if this is real heat against each other, or if they're really good at what they do.
I don't know. Once a zebra, always a zebra.
Get out.
Real quick before I leave, apparently. Now, I'm just kind of surprised that AJ Lee and the Bayley Intercontinental title match happened as quickly as it did, because I believe Bayley won the #1 contendership match last week, if I'm not mistaken.
They had announced ahead of time it would be next week, this following.
It's kind of surprising, and ironically enough too, it kind of, I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago, where Bayley was not at Mania, and was it because of Becky or something? It involved Becky Lynch, and now it seems like they're just going to set up for like AJ Lee versus Becky at Mania for the title. But I would love them to maybe kind of throw in Bayley in there, honestly. I think that would be kind of neat if you can just kind of throw it as a triple threat.
Go ahead.
I was going to say with Bayley, it's, Bayley's pulled double duty this week because she made her surprise appearance debut at the AAA Rey de Reyes 2026 to challenge for, I can't say these names, so I apologize to the listeners, the Reina de Reinas Championship, Rayana, however you pronounce it. She ended up losing, and I know a lot of people were upset that she lost 2 title matches that quickly next to each other. So I don't think this hurts Bayley's momentum going into WrestleMania season. I don't know. I hope she competes at WrestleMania. I believe, like you pointed to, I think she would fit great in the Intercontinental title picture with these two. So I don't know. We'll see. We still have plenty of time, a couple more weeks till WrestleMania. So,
real quick before we leave Raw and go to SmackDown, was there did we have anything on the Danhausen report for Monday Night Raw?
Just a advertisement.
I thought, didn't he curse Grayson Waller? And wasn't it going to be on to Kofi because he was trying to join?
Oh, I saw that. I did see that.
Right. Yeah, Kofi pushes Grayson in the way, and Grayson got cursed. I believe that happened last.
And Grayson was like, "Oh, it went over my shoulder. It went over my shoulder."
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I did actually see that.
It's great. It's great. I think it's hilarious.
Well, I'm adding this each week until it just stops happening. We're going to have a Danhausen report for Raw and SmackDown. And
I mean, that makes sense because we don't want to be cursed.
Right. No, I don't want to be cursed. So yeah, I did see that. As soon as you mentioned what it was with Grayson Waller and Kofi, I was like, oh yeah. I did see that. So yeah, good times, fun times. All right, moving over to SmackDown for March 20th now. And boy, what a show. To kick off the show, we had Drew McIntyre, who he quit, then he came back, then he quit, then he came back. He's back. He brawled with Jacob Fatu to start off the show. Just a brawl all over the place. And then the funniest news in the wrestling world this week probably is Damian Priest and R-Truth, who are the most established and most recognizable tag team in WWE right now, obviously, defeating Tama Tonga and JC Mateo to win the WWE tag team titles. So, and the look of the shocked look of expression on Damian Priest's face when the bell rang, which just says it all. I did actually see that. Good times. I would actually be interested to see when was the last time Ron Killings actually had a belt, and I'm not talking about the 24/7 title. I'm talking about before that. When was the last time he actually had a belt?
It was a tag team championships. He was a tag team champion with Miz when they brought in the new title belts.
Yes, that was a big moment too because they never won a tag team championship together as the Awesome Truth, and so that was kind of a nice little callback. Yep,
that was the throwback. That was also the famous telling Triple H, "You're not fooling me, Tommaso Ciampa."
Oh,
yeah.
So that was somewhat recently, but what about before that? But there was a pretty long dead spell there, wasn't it?
You know what? I'll look it up while we continue on the results.
Okay, sounds good. Wyatt Six came out and almost took their lantern bat, but Tonga said, nope, that lantern's staying with us, boys. Sorry. And then we move on to the next match. Motor City Machine Guns defeating Phyrexium and tag team action. Candice LeRae helps the Motor City Machine Guns take down Phyrexium, interestingly enough. After that, we had Randy Orton with a promo about why and what he did to Cody Rhodes last week when everyone had the O face, and including Jelly Roll, and was basically explaining himself with his big, massive heel turn. After that, we had Aleister Black defeating Sami Zayn in one-on-one action. Trick Williams was ringside to watch the match because Sami Zayn and Trick Williams got something going on, I guess. And then after that, we had Jade Cargill, B-Fab, and I can never say her name. Meechin. It was, Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill, once again, a big face-off this week leading up to WrestleMania. And then B-Fab and Meechin came out, and Rhea was like, haha. And then her smile turned upside down because she realized, oh no, they're allied with Jade Cargill. And then they just completely annihilated her, left her in the ring. So Jade Cargill has a new stable, a trio now. Pretty cool. I like it. It's a good look. And once again, I'm a big fan of Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill. Loving this heading into WrestleMania for sure. After that, we had the U.S. champion Carmelo Hayes defeating Ilya Dragunov one-on-one. Powerbomb into a sunset flip for the cover to retain the belt there. Nice little title defense there for Carmelo Hayes. And then after that, we had Jelly Roll and Kit Wilson doing some rap poetry.
Again, you said it wrong. It's Kit Wilson.
Oh, for crying out loud. What would you like to recite his poetry?
No, I
Okay.
would not do it justice.
Oh, wow. Well, obviously, we have a Kit Wilson fan here on the panel. I have to
It's a
remember
good
that.
He sounds toxic.
Having to hear that would make me be toxic.
Okay.
So, yeah, we had a face-off between Jelly Roll and Kit Wilson. Then after that, we had Irresistible Forces taking on the Bella Twins. No contest there. And ladies tag team action. Just a big brawl that just went nowhere, really. Just kind of what was it, like just a bunch of security came out or something? I don't know.
Mhm.
It just, the match didn't actually end. It
I
just
believe Flair, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair came out, and it was just ended up being a whole brawl between the three.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I see it now. Yeah, gotcha. Okay, so are they like trying to do like a 3 ladies tag thing leading up then, or
That's what it seems like it's going that way because both Brie and Nikki both signed contracts with WWE now, so it looks like this is going to be our WrestleMania Women's Tag Title match, a triple threat between these 3 teams.
Okay.
Whether there'll be a special stipulation is yet to be seen, but like I said, plenty of time to Mania.
I want to see Nia Jackson, Lash Legend in a ladder match, 3-team ladder match. Do it, book it. They could probably do it too. I mean, I'm sure Nia Jackson's been in a ladder match before.
She has. She was in the Women's Money in the Bank match during COVID when they did it at Titan Towers.
Oh.
Or WWE headquarters. Sorry, not Titan Towers. WWE headquarters. I don't know if you remember that, where they had to go to the roof of the building to get the briefcase.
Yes, I heard of it. I heard of it. I just wasn't watching. Okay, and then the last thing on SmackDown was Randy Orton just making Matt Cardona once again be mid Cardona to end off SmackDown, and almost breaking his arm or neck or back or leg or knee or finger or something. Arm. Okay.
Actually, while this happened, Drew McIntyre was beaten out of Jacob Fatu.
Oh, I just saw that down there.
Yep.
So wait, it was insinuated that they were still brawling from the beginning of the show to the very end of the show.
I believe it was in the parking lot. Drew McIntyre literally ripped. I believe I could be wrong. Ripped Jacob's windshield off and drug him through the front of the car and continued to beat him down.
Wow. So
unless that happened at the beginning of the show, I don't know.
I thought for a second they were pulling a WCW where like it was like Ming and like Norman Smiley or something at the beginning, and then at the end of Nitro, you see them in the background still fighting as Nitro goes off the air, like Ming and Norman Smiley, or it was somebody like that in that hardcore spectrum on Nitro. I always some people like said, "Oh, that's WCW again," but I thought that was hella funny. I love seeing that. So maybe they were trying to go with something like that. Maybe more on a serious note, though.
Back to the R-Truth situation.
Yes.
So his current title reign with Damian Priest. Before that, he was champion 2 years ago in 2024 with The Miz. Whenever we told you about the promo.
Yes.
So you don't want to include his 53 reigns as 24/7 champion because he's a 53-time 24/7 champion, man.
No.
The last title he won before that was on January 29, 2019, when he became United States champion by beating Shinsuke Nakamura.
Okay, that's what I was curious about. Okay.
Oh, wasn't that the match where it was like it wasn't supposed to happen?
I think so.
If I remember right, like he wasn't supposed to win, kind of deal.
Yeah,
and
it was a botch that they kind of went with.
Yes.
Before that, even before that, he wasn't a champion until April 30th, 2012. Became tag champs with Kofi, and then his first championship in WWE was May 24th, 2010, when he became United States champion the first time. So that's all the titles he's held.
Okay, I remember that really long dry spell before the 2019. That's the one I was mostly trying to remember there. Because that
going
was
from tag champ with Kofi to United States champion.
Yes, because that's when I was still kind of somewhat watching on the tail end of me watching regularly. So that's
I believe that was the middle of if I could be wrong. I think that whole spell was the little Jimmy and R-Truth losing his mind era.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, well, that'll wrap up double E for this week.
Well, hold on.
Oh, wait. No, we forgot the Danhausen report for SmackDown. All right.
Yeah, hold up.
Okay, sorry. I don't want to be cursed. I don't want to be cursed. All right. Lay it on me.
Right.
Lay it on me.
Real quick, hold on. Before I get to that part, I want to just mention one little thing, like the Michin thing. Michin took on Jade one-on-one in a wrestling match the week before and is now teaming with her with like almost no explanation except for BFAB talking with Jade backstage. So hopefully they shine some light into that, because that seemed really, really odd to me. When I read that, I was like, wait, didn't they just have a match like last week? Fraxium losing makes me sad a little bit. Because I like them as a team. And Sami Zayn learned that you do not touch the lemon pepper steppas from Trick Williams.
Can we talk about something with that match?
Okay.
If you go look at the video, Aleister Black probably delivered the stiffest black mass to Sami Zayn I've ever seen, and he even reacted like, "Yep, I messed that up." I mean, it landed on his jaw flush.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Again, though, Sammy's really good at selling, but yeah, you're right. It looked pretty nasty. It was probably one of the better ones.
It was pretty stiff. I mean, his reaction was like,
look at his face. Yep. He's like, all right, I'm probably gonna get yelled at for that. All right, whatever.
Wonder what he's saying there.
I think he said I messed that one up. Yeah, it was pretty stiff, dude. It was not as bad as Kofi Kingston knocking out the Miz. So
yeah. And also for Danhausen, actually, Johnny Gargano, I think, was planking, I believe, and it was a backstage segment, and Candice is like, "Hey, you deal with curses, can you fix him?" And Danhausen was like, "Do you have $20 human?" And Candice takes it out of Johnny's pocket, gives him the $20, and he just walks away. So that was the Danhausen for SmackDown.
Always be hustling, man.
That's right.
That's great. I love that.
Also, he has like 5 T-shirts compared to the Miz's, who has none, by the way. So just want to throw that out there.
Oh, yeah. Well, we said last
week. Get yours at WWEshop.com.
That's right.
Well, we said last week he was like the highest seller for merch right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the entire company. Except there's Roman Reigns still at the top of the page.
Actually, Danhausen has
but then there's
a lot
Danhausen.
of product.
Yeah, he does.
You just have to scroll.
Product.
Yep, there they are. Oh, he got a little wrestling buddy.
Yes, he does.
A wrestle buddy. Well, there you go. All right, well, that wrap up our double E, since now none of us are going to get cursed. So thank God for that. We're going to move on. Before we go into the Croakitoad news, we're going to bring up an awesome person, celebrity, great person. Just everyone around the world knows him. He was even involved with World of Warcraft, believe it or not. Film star, TV star, martial artist. Really sad to hear. He was the godfather of memes, if you will, on the internet. Chuck Norris passing away on March 19th. I'm trying to see. 86. Chuck Norris passing away March 19th. Before I pass it over to, just really quick before you go into Croakitoad news, maybe one of us can just bring up the first thing that we think of when we think of Chuck Norris. I'll start. First thing I think of is the movie with, I can't even remember the movie, but it's of it's like the kid who's like the bully, and he dreams about he's a martial artist with Chuck Norris. You guys will probably know exactly the title of the movie, but it's like the kid. He's in high school. He's like climbing the rope in gym class in high school, and he's like struggling. And he looks over and he sees Chuck Norris there, and Chuck Norris gives him like that motivational speech, and he does it. You know, he succeeds, and then I think he actually meets the real Chuck Norris at some point in the movie, and he becomes like a martial artist under his guidance. And I remember that movie as a kid. Obviously the other thing I think of when I think of Chuck Norris is the commercials, the Bowflex, I think it was, commercials.
Yep.
So I think of that. And then of course, the last thing, I'll leave it at this, was his appearance in the what was it, the Untouchable, what is that movie called with Stallone and all those guys? Expendables, yeah. His just out of nowhere coming back to movies, like AAA Hollywood big time movies, out of nowhere, Chuck Norris coming back, Expendables appearance, and the world lost a good one. What do you think, Raji, about Chuck Norris?
Yeah, I think the movie you're thinking about is Sidekicks.
Yeah, I think that is it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I grew up. I don't watch any. Didn't watch any of the old Chuck Norris movies, but I did grow up watching Walker Texas Ranger religiously. My parents loved watching that show every day. That movie. And I also remember the Bowflex commercials. Who can forget the Bowflex commercials? I think that was where the memes started getting generated from. Early on was Bowflex commercials. But yeah, Walker Texas Ranger is what I remember him most from. And I do remember seeing a movie or two with him in it, but nothing too old. So yeah, Walker Texas Ranger. Oh, hold on. We can't forget WWE Survivor Series 1994.
Oh yeah,
when he was the enforcer for the Yokozuna Undertaker casket match. Who could forget that?
And guess what? Special shout out there to fellow YouTube channel Marky D, because guess what? He did a back roundhouse to a wild slap nuts has appeared. Double J Jeff Jarrett. All right, Graham, what you got?
Just real quickly, I wasn't much of a Walker Texas Ranger watcher, but I did see some of his movies. One of them I remember, I think it was called Breaker. He was like a truck driver, and his brother was doing some, behind the scenes bad things to help the town that he grew up in, a small town and everything. That was one of the movies that I remember, but there are many others. And of course, you had mentioned earlier too about the memes and everything. If you want a really good laugh and you haven't looked it up, do look up some of the Chuck Norris memes. Some of my favorite ones, real quickly, was like, Chuck Norris wears a hat to protect the sun, instead of being protecting yourself from the sun. And then of course Chuck Norris doesn't read a book, he stares him down until he gets the information he needs. But there's plenty of other oones, really good laughs all the way through. I remember when in high school when that started really taking up steam and everything, and I would laugh every single time. It's just really good. But yeah, ultimately losing a good man in Chuck Norris, and our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family, or I'm sorry, with his family, excuse me.
All right. That leaves one thing left, and that's the world of Croakitoad. And we're going to start it off with the week in Croakitoad. That's me. And we're going to talk about what I did. And it's going to be real short because I only streamed 2 weeks last week.
You only streamed 2 weeks last week, huh?
Oh, did I say that? I'm sorry. Listen, that's a lot. Listen, I still got my mind on Oklahoma beating South Carolina, okay?
Okay.
All right. So I only streamed 2 weeks last day. No, I'm just kidding. I streamed 2 days last week. The first was me doing the WWE 2K26 showcase, the CM Punk showcase. We knocked the entire thing out in one sitting, one stream. It's actually available on YouTube, believe it or not. I'm surprised WWE didn't strike it down with the thunder of the gods DMCA like they did with every other one. It's still standing on YouTube, surprisingly enough. But yeah, we knocked that out, got all the achievements out of that mode, and unlocked all of the add-ons and bonus stuff out of that mode. And that's what we did on Tuesday, the Tuesday stream. And then on the Wednesday night stream, we jumped back into Tomb Raider 1, 2, 3 Remastered. They added plus 15 extra achievements, adding a special side challenge mode to Tomb Raider 1, 2, 3 Remastered, where you can, it's basically essentially a glorified randomizer where you can add enemies, subtract enemies, have no enemies, have regenerating health, have health that goes down gradually over time. And just basically nerf yourself or give yourself better stats, or basically twist the game however you like. You can't like fully randomize all the enemies like you see in like some Resident Evil randomizers where you see like the Neptune sharks floating, swimming in the air, stuff like that. But you can actually randomize the enemies and stuff in this bonus mode. There are 15 extra achievements they've added to it, or trophies, if you will. And a lot of them you can just get by doing the Thames Wharf skip. And I think I knocked out probably like 12 achievements, just that one little level skip there, which is really nice. But there was one really annoying achievement involving the sharks at the crap, what's the name of that level? I can't even remember it now. I tried to forget it, but the shark achievement, you'll know what it is when you see it. It sucks. Just giving you fair warning if you're going to try to go for it. Not even Badass Games liked going for it. He was also really annoyed by it. But we got them all done, all 15. Shout out to Closing Sniper for helping me out through that. But we got it done. But that's your week in Croakitoad. One of these days, I'm going to be like, all right, all 7 days. Here we go, baby. But not this time. 2 nights, or should I say 2 weeks, we streamed last week. Ha ha. But that'll wrap that up, and we're going to move over to Croakitoad community news, where we're going to just kind of give shout outs to some of the Croakitoad stream team, a part of the Twitch stream team. By the way, I just want to give a special mention that we are now up to 49 members in our Twitch Croakitoad stream team. So thank you to everyone that joined. We had brand new members joining in from Q the Stupidity, Liz the Lefty, Lone Star 82, and our special last account joiner. I was debating on whether I wanted to say this or not, but screw it. We'll do it live. Our last, most recent attendee of the Croakitoad stream team on Twitch, Mr. Jack Winters, aka Modern Slave. Obviously, our friend Kevin from QuakeCon, being streamer number 49 to join the team. So shout outs to all those Twitch streamers. Thank you for joining in. And just to give kind of a quick recap, obviously, Urkamus was streaming throughout the week, doing some Final Fantasy VII Remake. He's been rocking that out. Burnsy has been doing a lot of different multiplayer stuff. He's heavily involved in Resident Evil and does a lot of Resident Evil stuff. And also a shout out to Patrick's Raider, who at the time of this recording is doing some Days Gone right now. Really good game. I really, really liked doing that game. So those are the 3 streamers I see live now at the time of this recording. But I do know that we had Zazar streaming on Saturday doing his WWE show, not on 2K26, but on 2K25. So he did a Saturday weekend stream. And let's see here. We had Lucinda also streaming throughout the week and over the weekend. We had RE Kitten jumping in there doing some streams as well. Shout out to Feats, who's still on that Dino Crisis speedrun PB grind. We had Maggie, Puerto Rican Chipmunk, jumping in there with some streams through the weekend, doing some Peak. She also likes doing some Power Wash Simulator as well. And we had, let's see, we had Shane doing some more Rune Factory. I remember that on Friday. He was doing a little bit of that. We had Zozakin doing some streams. I was actually there at his stream, and we were talking about this very podcast.
Call out his friends.
There's a little show from GDQ there, shout out. But he was doing some Archipelago back on Friday, and I was actually in his channel, and we were talking about this very podcast that he's been following and listening along to. So, you know what, Zozakin, shout out to you. Make sure to enter that giveaway for that copy of Pragmata that we'll be giving away a few episodes from now. But not to be outdone, I don't want to miss anybody here. I know we had It's Pocket was also streaming as well. Queen Savvy also with the streams. Scorpios, shout out to Scorpios, doing some DayZ and multiplayer stuff as well. Disco Bunny also still on that grind. Liz the Lefty doing some Pokemon. She's one of our recent newest members of the Croakitoad stream team. Really appreciate her jumping in there. But yeah, just shout outs from a lot of really lovely people here in the Croakitoad stream team on Twitch. But with that being said, we've only got one thing left to do, and that is to reveal this week's Streamer of the Week. And our first ever stream, just a recap, our first ever Streamer of the Week was Lucinda.
Whoa.
What?
Whoa. We
What?
got one thing to talk about.
Oh.
Just before we ended off with what we usually end off with.
Okay.
I believe we had a suggestion.
Oh, I am so sorry. Yes.
And because we didn't have CPW, we're going to talk about that instead.
Thank you so much for interjecting me. I completely forgot. We had even talked about this before we went live with this podcast. We were going to do this. I just completely forgot. So thank you for stopping me there. All right. Yes. So Fuse 4 Spence, I know you're listening out there, and you can thank Raji for stopping me because I would have completely forgotten, even though I said we were going to do this. So Fuse 4 Spence on March 12th came up with a suggestion in our official Discord to ask us what our thoughts were about a certain topic when it pertains to the WWE wrestling video games and e-fetting, which is essentially making custom characters in the wrestling games and just having shows, having these custom characters go against real life wrestlers in the video game and making shows out of them like you're watching a TV show and doing it with titles and stuff like that. Where, you know, most of you, I'm kind of preaching to the choir on this, but for you new listeners, this is something that I've been doing for a very long time, creating my friends, my Twitch viewers, my fellow streamers that I know, my peers on Twitch, making them into characters in the WWE game, having them face off against each other in a computer versus computer simulation setting where no one's playing the game. We're just all sitting back and watching and just letting the result play out and have the RNG play how it's going to play out. And this is something that's been really fun, a really fun addition to my streams since I became a streamer, dating back to Justin.tv. And we've used a lot of wrestling games throughout the years to do this and apply this to. And a lot of people really enjoy doing it in their own way, whether they stream it themselves or they come to my stream and watch the way we do it. But we had a question from Fuse 4 Spence in our Discord in the Toad Talk podcast, and I'll read it off here. Word for word. He says, I think with the subject of creation streams in place of a CPW show, which is essentially what he's saying is on my Twitch streams, I've been showcasing me creating everybody on the wrestling game. Like someone says they want a character to be on my show, and I am showing the process of me creating them from scratch to be inside the video game. And I've been doing this for many, many years. He says, I'd love to hear everyone's take on how the games have changed since the old days, especially in terms of creating characters. So that's a really good question. Obviously, the wrestling games have been around for a long time, since the original Nintendo, probably even before that. But, you know, in the original Nintendo games, I don't think you could even create a wrestler until the PS1 games. I could be wrong on that. But before then, you could only pick like Hulk Hogan, Big Boss Man, Ultimate Warrior, The Undertaker, stuff like that. Or if it's like the WCW games, you could go with like Sting or the Road Warriors or Lex Luger, stuff like that, and just play the game. So yeah, wrestling games have gone on a long time, and they've come a long way. If you look at those early NES, Nintendo games, or those Sega games, even. But yeah, the creation process has definitely gone through its hoops and bounds over the years. There's been some really good games come out. There's been some terrible games come out. There's been some games that have been severe improvements, vast improvements over the creation process of trying to just basically overall customizing your game to how you want to play it, whether it be a custom arena, adding in custom logos, not having a WWE logo anywhere near in sight other than maybe the loading screen of the game, where it completely looks like it's your video game. Like you made this without any WWE trademarking or copywriting anywhere, which is really cool. Or on the other side of the spectrum, you have games that come out and they're just like complete disasters, whether they're just completely buggy, the AI is broken, they've removed modes out, the matches are terrible, they're glitchy, they're buggy, and things just don't work or the game crashes a lot. And we've experienced all of that throughout the years of WWE video games. And the reason why I say WWE and not pro wrestling is because while there is stuff like Fire Pro Wrestling that's been out and that has an incredible cult following, and it has an incredible creation system, it just doesn't quite have the graphics that are up to par to the WWE games. But definitely, if you want to customize stuff, Fire Pro's the big one to go to. But I don't know, man. I think after 2K26, it's getting there. I think it's starting to rival Fire Pro in terms of just everything you can customize and do in the games. But yes, to answer your question, Spence, the games have certainly had a roller coaster ride of ups and downs. And I always said that my personal favorite was WWE 2K14. I think a lot of people who do the EFED thing like me would also agree with that because of the added the story mode. You could do custom scenes, put in anyone you want, and to placeholder into any scene you want that's available in the game, and just format it into a show, throw in matches in between these cutscenes, and it just rolls off like you're watching a TV show, and it's through the video game. That was a really amazing mode, really awesome setup, but there were drawbacks to that game. Like, if you may correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe there was no men versus women in that game, so that was kind of a drawback. There were also only 50 call slots, if I recall correctly. There might have been 100, but I think it was 50. I
think we got 100 call slots before the switch to 2K, so it might have been 50.
Okay,
I could be wrong.
Yeah, I can't quite remember. It's been a bit. But also if you look back at the graphics, if you're used to like 2K25, 26, you look back at those 2K14 graphics, they're not the worst in the world, but they're very dated now. And also the big one to me, of course, everyone has always praised me who is around me during those times, being like really good at doing the paint tool thing, which was a in-game component you could use to basically drag a little like Mario Paint little thing inside the game to create whatever you wanted. It gave you this blank template, and you just drug this Mario Paint thing around, and you colored it in, and you made the lines, and you just was basically painting a picture inside the video game. And a lot of people said, I was really good at it. I thought I was always like mediocre. I mean, I could make what I wanted to make and get the job done, but a lot of people.
Shut up, dude. Shut up.
I honestly think I was like middle of the road.
That tool, the stuff you've made in that tool, I could probably make a stick figure and be okay with it. You were like, I did my best, and we're looking at it like, did your best, huh? You're a genius. You're Picasso.
You were shading stuff in Paint Tool.
Yeah.
It got to a point where I was shading stuff in Paint Tool. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I did mobile. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I'm my own worst critic. You guys know this. Even today, like I'll go back at a creation I've made of one of you, and I'll look at it and be like, nah, not feeling it, and I'll just nuke it and start over again. It's not very uncommon for me to do that. I'm just my own worst critic when it comes to that, and it goes back to the paint tool stuff. I always thought my work, I was like impressed sometimes, like, oh wow, I actually made that. That's pretty damn cool. But I don't know. Needless to say, that mode is no longer in the game anymore. They integrated a new thing where you could import your own image through their server, and it goes directly to the game where you can download it. And that also had some humble beginnings when they first added that in, because I can remember a time where those servers were not good at all. I would have to sit there for 15 minutes trying to upload, and it just would not go through. Luckily, it looks like they figured all those faults out throughout the years, and I've literally had no problems whatsoever with 2K26 when it comes to images and stuff, so knock on wood on that. But yeah, over time, it has drastically improved in terms of visual graphics. The technology has improved significantly, and of course, WWE 2K26, I would say, I don't want to make it seem like I'm using the newness to its advantage, but I would almost say WWE 2K26 is probably the best game ever made for e-fetting. I know it doesn't have the story mode, but look at everything else it does have. It's got men versus women. It's got every match type you could ever really want in a video game. It's got the image uploader. It's got 200 CAW slots. You've got 8 people in the ring at the same time. And yes, the custom arena can be a bit buggy. I've had to deal with that myself. But custom arenas in there, custom titles. I mean, the only thing really missing in the game that they previously had in any reiterations of any other game is probably create a finisher and the story mode, custom story mode. I mean, that's the only two things that I can really think of that are really lacking in 2K26. So I would say right now it's probably the king. It holds the crown and doing what I do in terms of e-fetting. And I hopefully that answers your question, Spence. I know you've been along the ride for a long time too and watched the games improve and technology improve throughout the years as well, with me creating your character and you being involved with other projects with the wrestling games as well. But yeah, it's a very interesting story. And if anyone is new to this conversation, you're like, well, I don't know what he's talking about. Definitely take a look when you get some free time and look at how the history of wrestling games have improved from the NES days to 2026. It's quite the trip just in terms of visual graphics. But I'll pass it over to Raji now to answer this question.
I'm just going to say one thing. 2K, Visual Concepts, whoever, I want you, I hope this podcast graces your ears. And I just ask for one thing. And that would be to bring Creative Story back. If you bring that back, I will bow down at your feet and buy you steak, because that is the granddaddy feature for e-fetters of all time. Yeah, you can technically do it now by finagling universe and doing like create movies, but there's no audio and you can't really control a lot of it. Bring back Creative Story in all its glory and make it better. And 2K27 will be your best-selling WWE game of all time, guaranteed. With that said, do you remember the days of having to go onto websites and find formulas to create real life wrestlers that you wanted in the old SmackDown versus Raw games?
Oh yes,
those were the days. Those were the days until Community Creations was first introduced, and a lot has changed. A lot has changed for the good, for the better. Some things not so good. I mean, like the biggest controversy of them all was the crotch and ass blur that would make creating wrestlers such the biggest pain in the rear without your attire looking awkward with a big gaping blank spot in the middle of the crotch where you're trying to make a logo and stuff.
I'm glad you brought that up because I completely forgot about that.
Yeah. I know people were exploiting workarounds and making bad stuff, but it was still annoying. But yeah, I remember the formulas and the hard work you had to put in, and Communications came out and made everything a lot easier because you could just be lazy and go download something someone else made. So
to your point, I remember going back to even the original, and this is actually fairly recent because I did this playthrough on Croakitoad, going back to the original SmackDown on the PS1, where you would have those codes, those formulas to build somebody that you've unlocked, like a head or a torso or legs or whatever, to build somebody in WWE SmackDown 1 on PS1. So yeah, that's wild. I actually completely forgot about that too, having to look up formulas for eyes and nose and mouth and hair, and wow. That's a trip down memory lane right there. Well, all right, Zazarus, what do you think about the whole e-fed through the years on the different WWE situation?
Well, obviously, it has gotten a little bit better. The one thing to touch on too, like right now with 2K, is that the point system. I know they're getting a little bit better with it, but you can only have X amount of points on your call. And now, granted, I understand you don't want something completely outlandish and ridiculous looking when you're doing online matches and everything, but definitely, I mean, heck, I started out on WWE SmackDown 2, where like what Raji was saying, where you're trying to get codes and trying to create, like the Giant and everything like that, or Sting. But it's definitely gotten a whole heck of a lot better. I view right now with like Community Creations is almost like how WoW is going in with like housing. Sure, like WoW, they're their developers and everything make these great like buildings, memorable stuff, but you see what some of these just WoW players are creating with little things like, hey, I'm going to use this this piece to make it look like a carrot or something like that, or I'm going to make this and it's going to turn out to be like a lantern that droops over, and or I'm going to make the window look like it's like raining and things. It truly is, when you let the community create stuff, it becomes almost mind-blowing on how great like they can make something. And I view that like how the WWE games are currently right now. I mean, you can get, what is it, like Sting, Chris Jericho, and some really good ones too on community creations where you're just like, dang, that feels like it's just they mocapped them and everything kind of deal. So yeah, they've done leaps and bounds for sure on the creative side of things.
Great question, Spence. Thank you for asking that. We all have a little bit of our own formula and participation when it comes to the e-fetting creations throughout the years. The three of us have all streamed the game and tried our own shows and stuff at one point or another. And so we've all been there on the creative side of it, and we've all been there from the viewer side of it, watching someone else try to run the show as well. So really interesting to just sit back and get nostalgia-gasms and think about how the technology has advanced throughout the years. That's for sure. But all right, I hope that answered your question, and thank you so much for suggesting that and bringing that to the table. And I implore, and if anybody else has anything that you would like us to think about, talk about, nostalgia over, just let us know in the YouTube comments, in the Spotify comments, or in the Discord, in the Toad Talk podcast, Croakitoad Discord. We would love to hear your suggestions and talk about what you would like for us to talk about. Just to give a little food for thought, especially if it's something that all three of us have some kind of knowledge or hand in throughout the years. But all right, we're going to end it off with our last segment of the podcast. We almost made the 2-hour mark. Well, we can thank March Madness for that. There was a lot to talk about, and WWE, I guess. But and then, of course, the question. But hey, you listeners out there, you are very important. So I'm so happy that we got to tackle that question from Fuse for Spence and take care of that. So, all right, we're going to end it off with our last segment of the podcast. And, well, we are going to unveil our Croakitoad Gaming Streamer of the Week on Twitch. Of course, as I was saying, Lucinda TTV, our first ever Streamer of the Week. Week number 2 went to... holy crap, I'm drawing a blank here. Who was
Lucinda? Week 2, you mean? I'm sorry.
Yeah, week 2. Oh, Monica Denizen. I'm so sorry. So yeah, Lucinda TTV was our first, Monica Denizen number 2, and then last week's was RE Kitten because of her Twitch affiliate anniversary and her kitten's birthday. But this week, our 4th ever Croakitoad Gaming Streamer of the Week is going to go out to the streamer who always calls me her little toad. And this is a shout out to Queen Savi coming in. Round of applause, sound effect to Queen Savi on becoming the 4th ever Croakitoad Streamer of the Week. And I gave this out to her because she took a little bit of time off and got away from streaming for a little bit, but came back like a house on fire. She went through Resident Evil 4 remake super quick, got through that, and got through Sweaty Leon, and then wanted some more Sweaty Leon and jumped right into Resident Evil Requiem and got through that. And now she's going through, like, she's always been very much a challenge runner, challenge streamer, a speed runner. She's done it, a lot of it in Tomb Raider. She's done some first time evers as a streamer on Twitch on some of these games for Tomb Raider, some of the Tomb Raider games. I don't know the specifics, but she's definitely up there when it comes to challenges and speed runs and getting things done in the Tomb Raider franchise. But now she's turning her attention over to the Resident Evil side of things and getting her feet wet in Resident Evil and did a Resident Evil Requiem playthrough, knocked it out, and is now going through different playthroughs of it, trying to go for challenges and stuff on the game, basically trying to break the game and see how fast she can beat it. But yes, Queen Savi, our 4th ever Croakitoad Streamer of the Week. Congratulations, well deserved, and welcome back to Twitch again. And thank you for joining the team, Queen Savi, from your little toad. And we're going to end off the podcast like we do traditionally, like the first 3 episodes, and end it with our clip of the week, which comes directly from Queen Savi playing Resident Evil Requiem. And also, I have to just say, for those of you listening out there working on other stuff while you're hearing me, you can actually divert your eyes to the podcast screen right now and actually see the clip. Everything up to this point has just been the logo, but the clip you can actually watch. So check it out. Here's a clip from Queen Savi playing Resident Evil Requiem.
I can do chunk. Just hold on. If I can sound like a fucking pterodactyl, I can, because that's what the fuck he sounds like. How's that? Was that good? Did I do good? Was that good?
I don't know. She was trying to be the big chunk from Resident Evil Requiem. I think she gave it her best shot, I would say. With the big screaming big guy, which, by the way, when I played that game, I said was my favorite Resident Evil monster ever. The first time I saw him, that first reaction I had when he busts through the hallway there during my first playthrough, which was a really funny clip. I'm glad people clipped that moment from my stream. But yeah, really great game. I can't wait to jump back into it. If Walmart will actually decide to give it to me before December 31st, 2026, that'd be great, so that I can finally get all the achievements in it on the Xbox. But yeah, that is your streamer of the week for Croakitoad Gaming. Queen Savi, congrats to that. And I guess that'll end us off for podcast number 4, unless my cohorts here have anything else to add to the end of the show.
Everyone stay radical.
I'm good.
I was expecting some kind of like fart sound or something from Raji, to be honest.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
Shut up, bitch.
Okay. Well, I guess that's one way to end the show. I will take the Rock's advice and cut it off now because it's already 2 hours and 13 minutes long. You guys have a good one, and we'll catch you next week for more Toad Talk. Please, again, leave us some suggestions, comments, likes, subs, and follows as well to support the podcast. If you have any suggestions, please drop them in the comments or in the Discord. And if you, again, have any game trailers, movie trailers, sports ideas, or any other topics you'd like for us to cover, please let us know. We'd love to talk about it. Have a good one, everyone, and we'll see you next week. Bye.